All right, guys, how's it going today? Hope you're doing great. So, we are going into niches today. So, first off, I'm going to be going into this document. You can access it below this video and you can check it out. But we're going to basically be diving into what I think are the top 15 most profitable niches you can dive into. So, kind of with that being said, when it comes to niches, it's important to find good quality niches. And what I mean by that is that way it's basically that you want to find niches that are pretty much high ticket and service based. There are some exceptions to the rule, of course, and you definitely want to find some potential niches that you either have some knowledge in, potentially some experience in, or if you don't, then at least find something that you kind of like, and that way you can basically you know research it and actually have fun researching it and things like that. So kind of with that being said, when I first started my marketing agency, I was kind of mentioning this before, but I started off with the contractor space because for myself, I had worked and ran a house painting business before, so I knew the contracting space really well, just naturally being in that space for 4 years. And although I only did house painting, I worked with certain contractors within that job. I definitely worked alongside roofers and things like that. So I kind of knew the space, and I chose roofers because I wanted to challenge myself, and also whenever I ran roofing ads, I was just really really good at them, right? So if you're starting out and you're brand new to it, find a niche that is high ticket. And when I say high ticket, I mean a niche that basically is they charge their clients at least $1,000 to $2,000, and this can be lifetime value as well. So for example, with a dentist, they might only charge a couple $100 up front or a few $100 up front, but over, let's say, 3 years and multiple visits, well, that client might be worth, $2,000 to $3,000 for them. And then if they eventually purchase like Invisalign or something like that, they're worth, thousands of dollars, thousands and thousands of dollars to them. Right. So that's the lifetime value. Then you also have like your really high ticket niches up front, like roofers, where if they're charging like ten to $15,000 a roof, well, then basically if they get one client, well, they're super profitable up front. Okay. So kind of with that being said, hopefully that makes sense. If you already have an agency, I would look at what you're doing really well, right? Look at the people that you're working with, that you're getting the best results for, that you're enjoying working in that niche, and you have an amazing portfolio of, and go down and niche into that and do what you're really good at. All right. So, kind of with that being said, we'll jump into this. But here are the top 15 most profitable niches that I think, in my opinion, are really, really good niches to jump into. And, for myself, I'm really service based. I really like service based niches. All right. So, which is why you can see the first one, of course, is roofers. It's definitely a really strong niche. It's easy to ROI them because they only need one or two jobs really to get an ROI right off the bat. And if you can get them a few jobs, right, they basically paid for the marketing for either a few months, and in certain cases, sometimes a year, depending on how big each roof is. But I've worked with roofers where, they've charged about $20,000 to $25,000 a roof. And, if you get them one roof and they have really high profit margins, right, it could be $10,000 to $15,000 profit just on one roof for the roofer. And if they do that, well, they've paid your retainer, for quite a few months. Same with kitchen and bath remodeling. They have massive ROIs. We're white labeling for a kitchen and bath remodeler right now for someone who's in my mentorship program, and they just landed an $80,000 renovation job or something like that, because it's just not cheap. And I think they're going to do like about $37,000 profit off of one job, let alone the other two or three that they have in the pipeline right now. So that's literally on, I think it was 2 weeks in, they landed that job. So in 2 weeks time, they basically paid for the retainer for like a year, right? So you can imagine how powerful that is when you can get service-based businesses, a quick ROI. All right. E-commerce is really good too. Now, this is more specifically if you're doing like TikTok ads and things like that. TikTok ads are super, super strong, and it's a new kind of service you can offer and things like that for the e-commerce space. With Facebook ads, it's a little bit trickier to kind of get dialed in and things like that. Now, with e-com, I would say it's important not to work with brand new e-com owners. It's more important to work with e-com owners who have a product that is proven to work. And the reason why is if they've already have some sales, then it proves people want it. But if people don't want a product, no matter how much money you spend on ads, it's not going to convert. So you want someone who already has an existing product that's proven to convert, right? Life insurance agents, another service that is really good, also super high ticket, and the lifetime value is really high. When most people purchase insurance and things like that, I've been with my insurance company for literally like 12 years now. Like, it's been so long. And the retention is really high. So it's very, very impressive because I've had someone in my mentorship program who was a life insurance agent, and he ended up starting his own life insurance marketing agency, and he closed like a bunch of his colleagues, and they were all paying him like 3 to 5K a month to run his ads, which is absolutely insane. So very, very strong niche. Another tried and true niche is chiropractors. Again, this is more based on lifetime value. So it's not like they're going to close thousands of dollars up front, but over time, they're going to close a ton of people. And for example, myself, I've been to my chiropractor. I go once a month. I pay about $80 a session. So across a year, for easy math, right, it's like $800, $900 I'm worth to that client. Now, if I go for multiple years, I'm worth a lot. So chiropractors is a really good niche because you can get them, long-term clients. Boxing gyms are great as well. I used to go to a boxing gym. I used to compete in boxing, and I love boxing. And I think it's a super good workout as a side note, but also a super good niche because boxing is really expensive. The memberships are not cheap. And typically, if the gym owner is really good, they can have really strong retention, right? And there's certain gyms who will also do like 12-month memberships up front where they can collect, a couple $1,000s, from the client and things like that up front. And you can charge, $1,000, $2,000 a month really easily in that space. You got HVAC, another super high ticket home service industry that, all houses will need some sort of HVAC work, whether it's AC, plumbing, or things like that. So super, super great niche. Now, another niche I've seen is immigration lawyers. Immigration lawyers are amazing. They're a really good niche to work in because there's a lot of people who are immigrating and they need a lawyer to help sort out documents and things like that. And actually, both my sister and my partner have needed immigration lawyers in this past year. And they're not cheap, I can tell you that. So if you can get an immigration lawyer, they would definitely be willing to pay quite a bit. Accountants as well. They're super high ticket, specifically small and business accountants. They're super, super expensive. I mean, I pay my accountant $6,000 to $8,000 a year. So if you can get them, any clients, right, in the business space or things like that, they're going to ROI really, really quick. Auto body shops are really good too. I personally have a friend who owns an auto body shop, and their average customers are probably like 2 to 5K. And this is like to do car wraps and, things like that. And again, if you can just get them 1 or 2 clients a month, they're already at a really, really good ROI because they have such strong margins. So my point is here, guys, and you guys can take a look at the list and do your own, research and figure out these things. But the point is that all these services are high ticket services and they're easy to ROI. I hope you can kind of see where I'm coming from because that's all I care about. I just care about how easy it is to get my clients an ROI. Like a niche I would avoid is like restaurants. Because like when I go out to like a normal restaurant, right? Nothing fancy, just a normal restaurant. And, I eat out, I maybe spend $30, maybe $40 if I'm like, really, really hungry or something like that. But the point is that if I'm charging $2,000 a month, how many customers do I need to bring in to basically get an ROI, right, for my client? It's a lot because restaurants don't have the highest profit margins. They maybe have like 10% profit margins. So yeah, I mean, it can work, but it's just way harder. Whereas if I just get like one roofing client or one HVAC client or whatever it is, it's much easier to get them an ROI because almost one client gives them an ROI. If anything, gives them a really good ROI. So that's why I have all these niches here, right? So we have, moving companies, health and wellness businesses, dentists, even SaaS companies. SaaS companies are blowing up right now, right? Especially with like the AI stuff, and realtors. So you guys can do your research and pick, one of these niches, or go in and figure out, what niche actually excites you, or look at your own business right now if you already have a business and see, what is a really good niche that you can actually dive into. So hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have any questions or anything about the niche, definitely let me know, or use the community as well. And feel free to ask in there and see what other agency owners are doing with their niches as well. But yeah, feel free to use this list, and hopefully this helps you guys out. And one thing I will leave it at is, don't get paralysis by analysis. At the end of the day, every niche is going to be, it's going to have its own pros and cons. There's no niche that's better than the other, as long as you're kind of following the framework, which is like a high ticket service essentially. But, for example, roofers is no easier than realtors or boxing gyms or HVAC or whatever it is, right? Every niche has its pros and cons, and you'll have to figure out, the right offer, the right audience, and all that when it comes to your niche. So I don't want you guys to just pick roofing because, I did roofing and things like that. Anytime I've seen someone do that and they think it's going to be super, super easy, like, trust me, roofing sounds really good, but also there are nuances to roofing. I had to go through a lot of learning curves to make sure that I was able to get locked in and, do really well in that niche. There's definitely nuances to it, and there's nuances to every single niche. So go in with the mindset that you're going to pick a niche and you're going to commit to that niche and you're going to figure it out. The last thing you want to do is niche hop and waste time and cost yourself, a bunch of money, right? Don't do that, because if you just stick with one niche and you just figure it out, you're going to get way better results and you're going to move a lot faster. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's training, and I will see you guys very soon.